This is Starship for the Atari 2600, and the instruction manual for this game has a copyright of 1977. So this game is about as old school as it gets. Let's read the manual. You're sitting in your Starship cockpit, and your television screen is suddenly transformed into the window of your starship. With the joystick controller, steer the ship deep into space. A constant barrage of meteors whiz towards your window. Eerie enemy space objects float from the darkest parts of space. There's a number of enemies. You have spaceships, aliens, and the big orange things that look like oat clusters. They're meteors. You can't shoot them, so you have to dodge them. I like that the spaceships look a bit like the Starship Enterprise in profile, but not quite. Well, this is a really old one, and I think it's quite impressive. If you like the history of video games and like to see where the games that we play today came from, this one is actually quite fun. It controls like one of the space games that we might play today, obviously not nearly as advanced. You don't really navigate through space so much as you just aim your window towards the enemies and then try to shoot them. Each game takes about a minute or two, and you are given points for the amount of aliens that you destroy, and depending which version of the game you're playing, points are taken away if you run into them. Graphically, it looks like you're flying into a bowl of Lucky Charms and shooting down all the marshmallows, which in itself actually wouldn't be a bad video game. This isn't one that will probably hold your interest for a long time. It does give you a couple different modes of gameplay. You have the standard mode where you shoot down the enemies and avoid the meteors. Then there's what they call a warp drive mode, where if you're familiar with Star Wars or Star Trek, you know what a warp drive is. You fly through space really fast, and you have to dodge things, namely meteors. So you don't shoot things in the warp drive mode. And then they give you a strange version of Lunar Lander, which isn't at all like the arcade version that most of us are familiar with. So that's Starship for the Atari 2600 from 1977, which is the year that the first Star Wars movie came out. And it's quite impressive that that game works flawlessly today. And watch out for eerie enemy space objects floating from the darkest parts
of space.